So what are 3 foods that you absolutely have to have, that you can't live without?
I would say that I couldn't live without arepa. Is like my daily breakfast in Venezuela. Arepa
that?
is made of corn flour, and it looks like a hamburger. So you put anything you want inside, and it's very tasty. And I would say like 95% of Venezuelans eat arepas every day. Well, it's kind of like a high carb diet in my country, so I need rice also for lunch. And bread. Bread is another thing. In the afternoon, a piece of bread, sweet bread with coffee is kind of like mandatory.
So lots and lots of carbs in your diet.
What about you? What about in England?
Well, English breakfast is not the healthiest of breakfasts. It's like a big plate with fried eggs, fried sausages, hash browns, like hashed potatoes, beans, just everything fried and everything delicious. And I would say that I can't live without that, but if I ate it every day, then I would probably not be able to leave my house because I would be so fat. But it's definitely a food that is in my top foods of all time. That's probably my favorite. But recently I've been eating lots of tofu as breakfast. Yeah, so a little bit of tofu, a little bit of soy sauce just for breakfast, which is just, it's a bit of a boring breakfast, but it's really healthy, I guess. So I've been eating that a lot every day. So I probably can't live without that recently. And also pizza.
Oh, pizza, yes.
Pizza. I think everyone can't live without pizza.
Yes.
Pizza is the best. Pizza is definitely a food
I
that I can't live without.
Pizza probably once a week, I would say. Yeah.
What's your favorite topping?
That would be cheese.
Cheese, classic.
Definitely. Bacon.
Cheese and bacon. Oh, sounds good.
Very, very tasty.
Just cheese and bacon or anything else?
No. I'm going for anything actually, but I will always need to have cheese and bacon on my pizza.
Pizza's not pizza without cheese.
Yes.
Has to have cheese.
Now, what else do you have? So you said tofu, pizza. What other food can you live without?
Well, my grandma is part Italian, so we have lots of like pasta and lasagna in our family.
Good.
So I try not to eat a lot of pasta because I'll get really fat, but pasta is definitely something that I can't live without.
Yeah, Italian food, so good.
Yeah, and again, lots of cheese.
Yeah, we also do a lot of lasagna. But, well, we call it pasticcio.
Pasticcio.
It's a different name, but it's the same lasagna, and it's also very tasty.
So good.
But
so like a real comfort food, isn't it? Lasagna.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So, what would you say is your comfort food?
My comfort food, that would be arepa again. Yeah, definitely.
You said you can have lots of like fillings in that.
Yes. So my favorite would be black beans with cheese inside. It sounds a little bit like a mix-up of things, but it's really, really tasty. We do eat a lot of black beans every day in Venezuela. Yeah, it's very common. What about you?
My comfort food, I can't eat it as much as I would like to these days, but it's probably my mom's spaghetti bolognese. So good. It's so good. Like lots of pasta, lots of tomato, lots of herbs, lots of cheese.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's amazing. I would like live with my parents if it meant I could have spaghetti bolognese every day. So good. So tasty. But yeah, it's the best.
Nice.
It's the best. Why are we always... So what are 3 foods that you can't stand? 3 foods that you hate?
Number 1 would be chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I don't like the feeling that you have when you put a piece of chocolate inside your mouth. It's like too hot. Like if I eat a piece of chocolate, I need to drink a lot of water. It feels I don't like it. Yeah.
I will gladly eat all of your chocolate. If you have chocolate you don't want,
Yeah,
I'm here.
it's weird because when, chocolate is very popular as a gift. Somebody's always giving you chocolate, and I take it because I don't want to say everybody like, I hate chocolate, actually. But, yeah. What about you? What's something you don't really like?
Well, I have something I don't like that I think is really popular. And every time I say I don't like it, I always get the same, like, what? Kind of reaction. But I don't like ice cream.
What?
Yeah. I don't like ice cream. I don't think food should be that cold. I don't like it. Food shouldn't be too cold to eat. It's just
Really?
not.
You don't know what you're missing.
I'm.
Ice creams are really, really good, especially in summer.
Chocolate's really good. I'll take chocolate over ice cream any day.
Well, you can try chocolate ice cream.
Oh, chocolate ice cream is the worst. Chocolate ice cream is the worst. Ugh, no,
What
thank
about a
you.
second one? Do you have any second food that you don't like?
I don't like tomatoes.
Oh.
Which is strange because I eat lots of pasta with tomato flavored stuff in it. But just tomatoes by themselves is not something I enjoy. Whenever I have like a hamburger with a tomato in it, I always have to take it out and give it to someone else. I don't like it. It's just juicy and not a good juicy way.
I don't like garlic.
You don't like garlic?
I like garlic in food, but I don't like to see it or eat it and have the taste of garlic. I don't like it.
Once you've got the taste of garlic, you don't get rid of that for about 3 days, right?
Exactly, that's another thing. Yeah. So when my mom is cooking and using garlic, after that she had to remove it. She cannot leave any evidence that she was using garlic in her food. Yes.
Is there another food that you don't like?
I would say sprouts, Brussels sprouts.
Man, no one likes sprouts.
It's bitter, and even though some people say it's good for your body, I don't like them.
I think, sprouts are just universally hated. No one likes sprouts.
Yeah, well, but when you are a child, your parents, for some reason, are always giving you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruel.
Oh, I don't like it. It looks like, I feel like a cow eating those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's just, ugh.
What about you? Any other?
I have one more, but it's really strange. I've never actually eaten them, but looking at them makes me really uncomfortable. And that's olives. I hate olives. I can't stand olives. Just looking at them makes me want to scream.
Really?
Like, I think it's the hole. I don't like the hole in olives. I'm like scared of olives. It's really strange, but
I
no.
like them. Very
You can
tasty.
have my olives.
Green, black.
Oh, no. If I see them in a jar at the
Better than
supermarket,
chocolate.
just no. Oh, no. Don't like them. Scared of olives. It's the craziest thing ever, but no. Don't like olives. Keep them away from me. Ugh.
Good.
So, do you think that we should send people to Mars or the moon to spend all this money on space travel?
Well, I think we should. Space travel can give people hope for the future, and space travel can unite people from different countries for a common goal.
But do any countries work together to travel in space?
Oh, certainly. The International Space Station has astronauts from different countries working together. And I think that a joint effort is the best way to do space missions. I think that we could go back to the moon and learn much more by going there than we can learn if we don't go there.
I see what you mean, but I think we could learn more and we could improve more if we can help the people on Earth. Think of everything we could learn from the children that can't get an education these days. Maybe the next Einstein is a poor little girl who doesn't have the money to go to school. If we spent more money on school and clean water and vaccines, maybe we could learn more from ourselves than from going to space and going to Mars.
I agree with you that more money should be spent on education, but we don't need the next Einstein if we're not doing space travel. The problem is, what are people with money willing to spend it on? I think that it would be nice if we could have all the rich countries spend money on education for poor people. But if you look at the numbers, the cost of one space mission is much cheaper than the things we spend money on now.
Like what?
Well, the first example that comes to mind is war. One day of war is so expensive for all the governments and militaries that are involved. One day of war costs more money than one space mission. But
Yeah,
war
that's
goes
true.
on and on for days.
Yeah, and years.
So if you think about the money in terms of so the money for a space mission seems expensive by itself, but when you compare it to other things, it's actually kind of cheap.
I see what you're saying. You're comparing the cost of space travel to war, but I would compare the cost of space travel to the cost of, for example, getting rid of malaria. I think we could get rid of a terrible disease like malaria for as much as we would spend on a trip to Mars.
Getting rid of malaria or going to Mars. Well, of course, I would also choose that we should get rid of malaria.
Maybe we'll have to agree to disagree.
We might have to disagree this time.
Okay.
So we're talking about going local as we're in a different country. How much of the local culture do you absorb? How much local, because we both live in Japan, right?
Yes.
How much in percentage, for example? How much Japanese food would you say you eat?
Oh, I would say probably 80% of
That's a
my
lot.
food is Japanese food. Yeah, I like it because most of it is healthy and it's actually what I can get in the cafeteria at work. So, yeah,
It's convenient.
it's convenient. What about you?
Well, I mostly make my own food, and Japanese food is really difficult to make, I think. I'm really challenged when it comes to cooking anyway. I'm really bad at cooking. And to have to try and learn a new style of cooking is just too much for me. I'm really lazy. So I would probably say if I'm cooking food myself, I never cook Japanese food. 0% of the time. I never. But if I go to a restaurant, then sure I can eat some Japanese food sometimes.
I sometimes watch the TV and learn how to cook Japanese food. There are some easy recipes. Do you ever watch the Japanese television? There's
I
tons
try, but yeah, like you said, it's a lot of cooking programs.
There's a lot of that was what I'm about to say. That
Yeah.
tons of cooking TV shows programs.
Yeah, and I watch cooking programs and I just get angry that I can't cook. I can't do it like that, so I just get frustrated, so I stop watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
What about other kinds of shows? So like not just cooking shows.
Well, I guess they have pretty funny shows, but I don't understand what they're saying, but I try to follow them, and yeah, sometimes they're very interesting. They also talk about clothing season was trending in Japan, what young people are doing. They have some interviews sometimes, very interesting interviews, and they're always teaching you something. So it's something that I like about Japanese TV. You're always learning something from other countries as well.
That's true. So how about like your friendship circles? How much percentage of your friends would you say are Japanese versus international?
Oh, I would say probably 40% are Japanese. Yeah, the rest of them are international people because I work with international people, so I spend most of the time with them.
And when you're with your Japanese friends, do you speak mostly in English or mostly in Japanese?
Oh, I would say like probably 70% Japanese and the rest would be English because normally when they know a second language is English, not Spanish. So I like 0% Spanish with Japanese. But yeah, like I would say 70% of the conversation is in Japanese also because I want to practice my Japanese.
Right.
Yeah, what about you?
Well, I'd say out of my friends, recently I've had like no time to socialize. So probably about 30% of my friends are Japanese. But when I speak with them, it's mostly in Japanese. I don't like speaking in English.
Oh.
It's just like probably for the same reasons as you. Like I want to practice my Japanese.
But I will say that from my Japanese friends, like most of them, probably like 80% of them always want to speak in English because they want to practice English too. So it's like a give and take. Like we speak a little bit in Japanese, but sometimes we speak more in English.
Yeah.
It depends also the topic and what you're talking about.
If it's a topic you can talk about, then go for it in Japanese. But if it's a difficult topic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.